Welcome everyone to WinesOfItaly LiveStream. Today it's on a Wednesday, and as I said before, I'm doing these live streams also a lot to have material for a future podcast that I'm trying to prepare. Takes a bit of time because it's only me. But it will come. So even if you cannot follow at this hour, you can always watch it on my pages here on Facebook or on YouTube or on LinkedIn. It's always Great Fun Adventures. No, Facebook, I think it's Katarina Andersson. So just stay tuned for a while we do the intro, and then I will introduce the guest. So welcome today to Emiliana from Basilicata. I'm very excited to learn more about Basilicata and Vulture. I've been visiting a couple of times, but there's still a lot to learn. So welcome, Emiliana. Do you want to present yourself?
Yes, thank you. Really thank you, Katarina, for hosting me here this afternoon. So hello, everybody. I'm Emiliana D'Angelo from Azienda Agricola Donato D'Angelo, and we are located in Rio Nero in Vulture, in the north of the region. The region is Basilicata, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to talk more about Aglianico and Basilicata, because I think that Basilicata is still a little bit unknown region, even for Italian people sometimes. Basilicata, as I told you, is a little region in the middle between Campania and Puglia, and I like to say that is a little gem in the middle of Italy that I really want to suggest you to visit.
So do you want to talk about a bit about what is so particular about the Vulture area? I mean, why is it a territory that is so specific? Well, we know it's an old volcano, but also how it relates a bit and distinguishes itself from the Aglianico di Taurasi.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you told, the Vulture is an ancient exit volcano. The last eruption is dating back 130,000 years ago. So, a lot of time. But the last eruption gives us the volcanic soil, that means lapilli and ashes. This is really important for us and for the fertility of the soil. So the appellation of this area is Aglianico del Vulture, that means Aglianico from Vulture. So the grape Aglianico in a different clones is the same of Taurasi and Taburno. Taurasi is the Aglianico from Avellino area, and Taburno is Aglianico from Benevento area. But these three different areas are completely different, as I told you. We are at 600 meters of altitude. That means a really particular macroclimate. But for example, in Avellino area, they got more rainy days, for example, than us. So also the acidity is a little bit different. The important thing that we have to say is that Aglianico is always higher in acidity. Here in Taurasi and Taburno. But for example, one of the most important difference between Aglianico from the Vulture and Aglianico from Taurasi is the acidity. In Taurasi is even higher than here. So and also for the tannins. The tannins in Taurasi area are really difficult to manage Here is the same, but in Taurasi is much more difficult. I think that if you want to appreciate better a Taurasi, you have to wait 6 years, 7 years to understand this grape in Taurasi. So maybe we are a little bit more lucky, we can say. But also here, my father, for example, my father that is Donato D'Angelo, of course, he always say that Aglianico is like a wild horse, a crazy horse, because it's really hard to manage in the vineyard, in the cellar, because we have to say that Aglianico is a late ripening variety. So we have to wait the perfect maturation to pick up the grape. That means harvest at the end of October. That it's really hard because you never know how the weather can be in that period. So it's really hard for us, but we have to wait the perfect maturation of this kind of grape. For example, the last vintage, 2022, we harvested a little bit before, just 1 week before. So last year was the 10th of October. But for example, in 2016, I will remember that was the 2nd of November. So it's crazy, I think.
Yeah.
But the perfect maturation.
So how would you say, because you say that, sorry if I, so you talk about that it's very difficult to manage. I mean, you have to be careful in the vineyard and in the cellar because of the tannins and the acidity. So how would you say is the best way to deal with, I mean, how do you get the grapes, the quality you need in the vineyard? Especially with climate change. Especially with climate change.
I think that the really important thing is to taste day by day and to do analysis during this period, day by day, because you have to check the perfect acidity and the perfect way to extract the perfect color. So you have to be really careful, and you have to walk a lot along the vineyards. I think is the best way.
Okay. And would you say that because I mean you just talked about the acidity and the tannins as the acidity as being higher, also because I think perhaps the altitude might be the same in Irpinia and in Vulture, but do you have the same aging potential? How do you see the development of the wine once it's made?
I think that the potential age is almost the same, but of course it depends how you can what kind of maturation do you usually do. The time in the barrels, so it depends which style do you want to produce, because for example we got two different way to produce 100% Aglianico del Vulture, and I want to say that the second thing to say about the difference from Aglianico del Vulture and Taurasi and Taburno is that our appellation, our DOC, allows us to use only 100%. So only 100% of this grape. In Taurasi and Taburno appellation, you can add also the 15% of another grape. So 85% to be
that's true.
Aglianico.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if we go over and
it's a particular.
If we go over and look at Donato D'Angelo, because I think we have to point out, as we said before, that you are Donato D'Angelo winery, not to confuse with the D'Angelo winery. So if we look at your activity in your winery, what is the expression of Vulture you want to communicate? How do you use big barrels or small barrels or?
No, at the moment we use tonneau, so 500 liters
Okay.
barrels. Yeah, exactly. Because we think that barrique is too inclusive for this kind of grape due to the, for example, this vanilla taste that is
Yeah,
too
exactly.
inclusive, I think, for Aglianico. For example, in our entry-level Aglianico, we start to use less wood because just 5 months, 6 months, it depends by the vintage, because we want to express Aglianico itself. So with this kind of wine, we want to produce pop Aglianico. We want to say just to give a much more drinkable Aglianico, much more easy to drink Aglianico. And we got also another style of Aglianico that is a perfect classic style Aglianico, because I think that it's really hard sometimes to appreciate an Aglianico. For example, during the summer is really hard.
Yeah, that's
But
true. That's
if you
true.
come to Basilicata, the temperatures during the night in the summer are always low, and 15 degrees sometimes, 20 degrees. Yes, but this kind of particular microclimate, I really want to say that is really important for our vines because this diurnal range from the day that, for example, in July is from 30, 35 degrees Celsius to 15 sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we always wear a jacket during summer night here,
Mm.
and for the vines, it's really important for the synthesis of polyphenols. So
Yeah,
it's really
exactly.
important. Yeah.
Mm. So remind me again, because I think you said it before, but your vineyards, at what altitude are they? Because you're in Rio Nero, no? Rio Nero in Vulture.
Yeah, exactly. We are in Vulture and Basilicata, but I think one of our treasure of our winery is that we don't have a single vineyard, but we got three different plots in the three much more suitable area of the Vulture. So we got vineyards in Barile, that is at
Okay.
600 meters. We got vineyards in Ripa Candida, that is 500 meters, and in Mosquito. In Mosquito, we are less closest to the volcano, so the composition of the soil is a little bit different. You can see also the difference of color. In Barile, we got a black soil color, and in Mosquito, for example, is much more red, so you can see the difference also with the soil, and of course also in our wine. So we pick up the grapes in a different time because it depends.
Yeah.
In the Mosquito plot, for example, we have to harvest before because the temperature are higher than at 600 meters. So I think that
Yeah.
is the beauty of this job, I think.
So do you then blend the wine from the different vineyards in the different?
Just for one of our wine that is called 𝒊𝒏𝒈, that is a blend
Okay.
between Aglianico and Cabernet Sauvignon.
No,
But
but I meant to say Aglianico from the different vineyard plots. Do you
no,
blend
no,
them?
it depends. It depends about the quality
Mm.
of the vintage. But normally, from the youngest vineyards that are located in Mosquito, we pick up the grape and harvested the grape for the entry level Aglianico.
Okay.
And for the classic style Aglianico, the Donato D'Angelo, we pick up the grape from Barile vineyards that is 40 years vineyard. So that means, of course, less production per hectare and much more structure and body in the final wine, of course.
Okay.
So we can make a difference from the soil, from the age of the vineyards, and that's why we can have two different Aglianico 100%. So it's not from the same vineyards, of course.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to tell a bit more about yourself also, perhaps? I mean, because I know that you're an enologist and that you are working together with your father. But what are your views on winemaking? I mean, what have you been changing something when you started working in the family winery? What's your challenges?
Yeah, exactly. I graduated in Milan in viticulture and enology, so I'm a winemaker. And after the graduation, I did some harvest in Piedmont and in the south of France, in Languedoc-Roussillon, and was the 2019. So at the beginning of the 2020, I was thinking about doing another harvest, for example, in South Africa or in New Zealand, because they harvesting from February to April. But after the COVID appears, was impossible to me, and I say, okay, now is the moment to focus on our family winery. And so now I'm really proud, but I think that is really important for everybody to gain experience from the others, and to have a much more global view about all the winemaking styles. For example, in France, I worked for really big vineyards, about 5 million bottles. So it was really huge for me, for my style and my idea of winemaking, because my goal is not to increase the production of the bottles, but is to focus on the quality of this kind of these bottles of our production. After the graduation and this kind of experience, I started to work with my father, that is also a winemaker, and so we start together to do something different, like this kind of new Aglianico style. Less maturation, less skin contacts, less pump over per day, just to give a much more drinkable Aglianico, as I told you before. And from the last harvest, we did our first rosé, and is not a rosé from Aglianico, but is a rosé from Syrah. So 4 years ago, we decided to plant 1 hectare of Syrah because we got in Ripa Candida. We call it our little international plot, because we got Cabernet Sauvignon and we planted Syrah, this 1 hectare of Syrah, and we decided to do something different. Last year was my very first wine by myself, and I decided to give you also a different style of the label. For example, I really want to show you our latest news. You can see. You can see here we got me and my sister's profile, and so it's a really particular label, I think. And also my sister is now working with me. She graduated in economic school, so we are perfect mix to work together, I think, and to going on with our parents' business.
So, what were the difficulties when you started working in the family winery? I mean, I guess you had your ideas, but what were the most difficult and challenging?
I think that look, the fun fact is that the winery is named with the name of a man, Donato D'Angelo. But we are three female because we are in the winery, me, my sister, and my mom. So at the beginning was really hard for us to say all together because if you are the owner of your company, you start with the breakfast to talk about work and at lunch, at dinner. So you always work, so
Yeah,
it's really hard sometimes. And but now we try to manage this kind of relationship. But at the beginning, also with my father, was really hard to understand each other. I think because with the I don't want to say I don't know people mentality, but for example, sometimes you say no, you are my daughter, you are a girl, you don't have to do this kind of job, you don't have to take this weight. And I say, and I always say, I'm able to do whatever I want. So
yeah.
now is much more better. So
But was it hard
I'm really proud
also?
of this.
Yeah. Was it hard also to convince him about about your style of wine?
Yeah,
Because I guess he
yeah.
had a way of doing it for a lot of years. So
Yeah, exactly. Because the important thing to say is that my father was one of the first to introduce the oak in Basilicata area, maybe the first. So now the trend is completely different. The people really want to drink something new and something fresh, and it's really hard to sell an Aglianico from 4 years or 5 years. So I try to tell him about how the trends are now, but was a little bit hard, but now he is okay with that, and
mm.
I really appreciate that he he's open, much more open now to hear my opinion.
Oh, that's cool. So how do you think about the future? I mean, how do you see Basilicata and Vulture in the next few years? I mean, I guess it has changed a lot also in Basilicata in the last few years, with lighter styles, as you say, lighter wines and less over oak,
Yeah,
as I
exactly.
also seen when I
And
taste. But how do you see it? Do you see that there's a general trend that wineries uh, try to change their style a bit, or how do you see it?
yeah, I think that the trend is now to produce much more drinkable Aglianico, as I told you before, because it starts to be hard to understand this kind of grape. First of all, the important thing that I really want to see in the future is that we have to explain and communicate more with the
Mm.
other wineries to better understand what Aglianico is. You have to explain to the people how to drink better an Aglianico, how to understand an Aglianico. You have to say that Aglianico has got this kind of high acidity that you have to accept in some ways. So
Mm.
it's the communication from us as wineries to the people is really important. we have to
How
work
is
more with this.
yeah? How is the community, the collaboration between wineries in the Vulture area? Do you have a good relationship with other wineries, or are everyone trying to do their own thing? Or
I think that now it start to be okay with the new generation, but I think that in the past was really hard to communicate from winery to another because everyone want to go on with itself. So now with the new generation, we start to
yeah,
cooperate better, and I think that is the most important thing because we have to go on with the appellation, with the Aglianico, not as Donato D'Angelo or as Caterina
yeah,
Anderson. Yeah, I don't want to say another names. So I think that is the most important thing, and I hope for the future because the south of Italy. We don't have a lot of young people, unfortunately, because a lot
no,
of
that's
people, a lot of friends of mine go away from the south of Italy, and I'm really sad about that. So we need to. We are a few young people here, so we have to collaborate more, I think.
well. Perhaps you can use the trend of Puglia and Calabria that a lot of people are coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but in
No.
Basilicata is still really hard. Yeah.
Well, I think it's as you said, it's been a bit in the shadow for a long time. I mean, the Aglianico del Vulture has always had a good name, but it's also been difficult to find wines and
Yeah.
to get a hold of them because they've not been that easy to communicate probably. So I wanted to ask something also about, of course, about sustainability and the climate change. So how do you see the climate change affecting vineyards in Vulture, and how do you see sustainability work? I mean, both in vineyard, winery, and because I know you mentioned that you want to have this other certification in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So, what we can say about the climate change, for example, in Italy, it's a really hard times now because I asked to my father just 2 days ago, and I said, "What about the month of May in your own experience? Because this year." It's raining since the 1st of May, so it's really hard for us. As I told you before the live stream, I told you that we have to go on with the green pruning, and now
Yeah.
it's impossible for us to do it because it's always raining during these days, and it's really hard. We are really scared. I can say about this rain because we have to finish the green pruning, and also for
Okay, I think we blocked a bit. Let's see if she comes back. So as she said, it's hard with the climate change because the weather in May now in April also has been not as good as we expected, and it's raining a lot all over the country. When I was in Calabria the first week of May last week, it it was raining, it was cold. So it was a bit challenging. Let's see if we can get her back. Okay, so I'm just trying to continue and talk a bit. So we're talking to Emiliana D'Angelo from Donato D'Angelo Winery in Basilicata, and I met her last year in a tasting a wine competition together at Radici del Sud in Puglia, at Bari, and we were in the same group tasting lots of wines from southern Italy. Hello, Lloyd. Nice to see you here. I saw that you were back in at 𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒈.
I'm here,
Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, no worries.
Yeah, so this is the climate change. Because due to the bad weather, my connection
No
was like
worries,
this.
no worries.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But
So
this is
we have Lloyd, a friend of mine from UK, listening in. So let's just continue. You were talking about the rains and how it's a very strange May because it's colder in the south than in northern Italy.
Yeah. As you can see with my jacket, yeah, it's yesterday night was 7 degrees, so it's really really hard. I already told you we are at 600 meters, but it's not common for May to have 7 degrees. So and it's raining from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's really hard to work in the vineyards. We have to finish the green pruning, so we really hope for sunshine days. Yeah, I hope. And so I also told you that about sustainability, we our winemaking style is really with low intervention because we believe that if you can work very well in the vineyards and you can harvest unhealthy grapes and you can work very well in the cellar. For example, we use selected yeast because we want to be sure to go on with the fermentation. So we go on with this kind of style. For now, not natural fermentation because sometimes it's really hard to manage, I have to say. And so
have you had any ideas about doing some experiments in the future just to see how it...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I really want to experiment, but not in big quantity. Yeah, I think that you can do this style with just 1,000, 2,000 bottles and not 100,000 bottles. I think it's really dangerous sometimes. So this is my opinion.
No, for sure. So, I mean, if we talk about sustainability, that a lot of people are into now. So, do you also kind of start thinking about lighter bottles and the packaging?
Yeah, about this, yeah. We don't want to use the heavy bottles, so less than 350 grams, something like this, or less. So we want to reduce all the plastic. We don't want to waste water. So we believe in these little things that are really important from the for the planet. Yeah, because I think that we don't have too many time to fix this kind of problem. Yeah, exactly.
So,
and as a young people, I have to work with much more sustainable things and projects. So it's one of my goals, I have to say.
No, that's cool. I mean, I think also like step by step is probably, you know, the thing that a lot of people are doing now, because to gradually start going over towards more sustainable winemaking processes and also in general. So I don't know, do you have anything else to add? Otherwise we might go over to talk about more like I don't know. Do you want to show your wines and say something about?
Yeah. Just to give you a little explanation about our production. So as I told you before, from the last harvest, we did our first rosé that is called Ede, and is 100%. Ooh, okay, it's better like this. Like this, yeah, okay. So is 100% Syrah, is really fresh, fruity, like pomegranate taste. So it's I'm really proud about my first rosé experiment. And after we got these two selection of 100% Aglianico del Vulture. As I told you, our appellation allow us just to use 100% Aglianico del Vulture. So the first one is 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒂𝒂.
Yeah.
That 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒂𝒂 means also a glass of wine, but it's also my grandmother's name. So we decided to put this name on the label to give an homage to her after she passed away. So this one is from Mosquito area, so the young vineyards. And as I told you, is 100% Aglianico. The vintage is 2020, the current vintage, and is just 5-6 months into 500 liters. So this one is what is our entry level Aglianico, and much more easy to drink Aglianico. You can enjoy this wine also, I think, without food. You don't have to pair this wine. You can enjoy without, I think, sometimes.
So what would be a typical Basilicata dish to pair with your Vulture, Aglianico del Vulture?
Yeah, so the most typical pair is lamb. Potato with lamb with potato, yeah, because we got a lot of farmers here, or local farmers, and also we got a lot of wild boar.
Okay.
So, yeah. So this kind of fat food, I have to say, but also pasta. So pasta with ragu sauce. So I think that Aglianico needs a fat food because the acidity can clean the fat from your mouth. So the second one is also 100% Aglianico del Vulture, and is our classic style Aglianico. Because with this we go with more maturation, more skin's contact. And it's also from our oldest vineyards, so that means much more structure on this wine. So you have to pair this wine with some fat food. I can recommend, yeah, because it's really hard to appreciate and to better understand without. And of course, you can age this kind of wine due to the tannins and the acidity for ages, like 30, 40, yeah. You can forget this bottle in your cellar, and you can pick up to celebrate after 40 years, for example, yeah.
So which is your favorite vintage that your winery has produced since you started on your own?
Yeah, well, we did a vertical tasting just last week. And we tasted the Donato D'Angelo Classic Style from 2007 to 2019. So it was really an amazing tasting with some of our customers. And my favorite was 2007 and 2012. That I think that are two of the best vintages. Yeah. From my life, because so I'm just started. So
yeah, interesting.
And yeah, so and the last one is our blend. Is called Balconara.
Okay. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see. Mhm.
And it's a blend between Aglianico and Cabernet Sauvignon. So as I told you, we wanted to do something different in the past, and my father decided to plant Cabernet Sauvignon. 25 years ago, so I was a believer, I want to say. And here, with the Cabernet Sauvignon, we don't want to cover the particular of Aglianico, but just to give an help to better understand Aglianico and to better appreciate, because of course is an international wine, so is much more soft in the mouth. You can drink this wine, for example, with pizza. It's easy to drink with pizza, so it's much more easy to drink than 100% Aglianico. So
Yeah,
it's a little start to understand Aglianico. It's the first step, I think, to understand Aglianico. You can start with this, and after you can go on with the 100% Aglianico. Yeah.
okay. So where can people find your wines? So do you export abroad?
Yeah, of course. We export in USA, in UK, in Germany, Poland. So a lot of
And I never
we
asked
got
how
a
many
lot
do you,
of market.
yeah.
Sorry.
So how many bottles do you make per year? I mean, I never asked that.
Per year, 120,000 per
So
year.
it's
Yeah.
fairly
Yeah,
mid-sized.
exactly. So we got a good market abroad, I can say, yeah.
And
And
locally, where are you more
in
present, in Basilicata or in the larger city of
yeah, of course, in Basilicata, almost everywhere. Also, a really good market in Puglia, but also in the north of Italy, like Campania. A lot of restaurants in Milan, for example. So we got because me and my sister we used to live in Milan.
that's cool.
Yeah, because we attended university in Milan, so we during the studies we we also sell the wine.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So,
Yes, and in around 1 2 months we are building our new website with the
okay.
e-commerce, so you can find our wines in a month, in a while, also in our website. Yeah.
So people who wants to buy your wines, they can go to your website in a couple of months and then find the wines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So do you have anything else you want to add that you think is important to know about your winery or about what you do before we round up the...
Well, I think that we say almost everything, but the important thing that I want to underline is that you have to come here to better understand the Vulture area and how beautiful is this area and our wines, because I think that if you can visit our terroir, you can better understand what are you drinking. So
That's true.
I
So
wait for you in Basilicata.
do you offer wine tastings and wine tours?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Just,
cool.
you can just have to book, and we can manage a visit. Yeah.
Well, that's nice. So for those of you who are going to southern Italy, you should definitely pass
Yeah.
by Basilicata and pay a visit to Emiliana and to their winery. So I just wanted to
You're
say
more than welcome.
yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you today for joining us. It was a bit different time frame because it wasn't possible for me to do it later tonight. And but I hope you enjoyed. And anyway, the live stream will remain on YouTube and LinkedIn and here on Facebook. and so you can watch whenever you want. So thank you, Emiliana, for taking your time to talk about Vulture and your winery.
Thank you, Caterina, for having me, and to all of your listeners. Yes.
Okay, so I will just drop a link. Also, this is something else that you can donate for. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. So if you like the live stream, you can do that. And I will be back in the next few weeks with a couple of more live streams. Now I'm going to be traveling for a bit, so it might not be next week, but I'll hope you will enjoy the next few live streams. So thank you, and have a great evening. Ciao.
Thank you. Goodbye.